When was the first time you came up here, Paul?
Oh, I can't remember because I would do this by myself. I've done the Equinox thing ever since I was a teenager by myself. I sometimes would have somebody else involved. And what I would try to do every year would do it someplace where I would remember where I had done it. And it all started with the idea of a synthesis of long story. When I was in high school, our senior year, English teacher, Fern Curry, was a very good pre-college kind of teacher, and we had to do a very big involved paper for half of the year. And I had the mumps at 18 of all things, and I was perfectly healthy at home, so I spent all this time researching through it, had this paper. And so the synthesis of the ceremonies where they would climb an oak tree and one priest would cut off mistletoe and another priest underneath would, with a golden knife, and underneath would hold a linen cloth and drop it into there. Anyway, this is the mythology of that. And so that was the idea of a tree, sitting under a tree and the mistletoe, and then the business about wine as the fruit, wine and nuts as the fruit of the earth, and the salt on the nuts is the salt of the minerals and stuff like that. So I tried to simplify that way, and I've done it in some rather interesting places in my life. And two of the tree aspects of it were, one was under the huge rhododendron tree. I mean, that big around, 30, 40 feet high, and bloom, starting to bloom up in the mountains near, it's hard to describe. It was a national forest. We were building a road in it, down Grand Ronde someplace. And then the other one was in 1961, was in Eastern Oregon, where we were building a road, and my very good friend there was a rancher. We went out, sat under this huge sagebrush tree, of which I had in my house in Seaside, and I had some farmers there spend the winter peeling the bark off of it.
Wow. Off the sagebrush?
Yeah, it was that big around. Nobody had ever seen anyone that big. And and I remember John saying to me, well, I don't mind associating with nuts, but I don't want anybody to think I am one. and that day I poured wine into Bully Creek, which ran into the Snake River, which ran the Malheur River, which ran the Snake River, which ran the Columbia. And I think I was visualizing it coming all the way down to Columbia. And then the year in which the bridge was built, I went up at exactly the split second with Bob Clark and managed to get on the top of the bridge at the top, just exactly at the split second, stopped the car, there wasn't any other traffic fortunately, and poured wine over the top and struck a bridge into the Columbia River. All these, it's just something to remember. At one time